anticipated presentations of this conference for sure. We're super excited to have PMDG's Robert Randazzo here. Of course, he's the CEO. Yeah, I don't know who he is either. Anyone heard of him before? A couple people? Okay. Excellent. So Robert is here. We're, again, super grateful for his support along with several of the other top flight simulation developers today. Robert actually flew himself here in his own DC-3, which is just parked at Signature outside. And we're hoping potentially to maybe get some more of that involved with the event next year and some tours and things like that. So he was here to talk about PMDG and perhaps share some exciting announcements or some news or some secrets that I may or may not know about with you guys later today. And of course, he'll be participating in our panel discussion in just a few minutes on the future of the flight simulation platform. So without further ado, Robert, I'll hand it over to you. Thank you.
For those that don't know, a bunch of years ago, I had a momentary lapse of judgment and wound up running for office. And in that, I developed the ability to talk for extended periods of time about absolutely nothing. So you're going to see me pick my phone up and look at it now and then. All I'm doing is checking the time to make sure I don't go too far over the allotment. So it's actually turned off because some of our team is here today, and there's nothing they like to do more than harass me, so they will start texting me in the middle of this. And actually, I don't know if they're back from lunch. Are you guys back?
Kyle and Frank just stood out eating pizza. I just fed the pizza.
All right, so now I can tell you anything I want because there's nobody in the room to give me supervision. So I am Robert Randazzo. I'm with PMDG, and we are celebrating our 18th year in business starting August of this year, which is sort of astounding to me because I started PMDG because I needed a little bit more money to pay off some of the credit card debt I racked up building my flight time. So in 2001, I had decided I'd pretty much done all that there was to be done with it, and I was going to cash in the chips and go home. But one of our guys, Vin Simone, begged and pleaded with me to let's just do one more project. And I didn't want to do it, and I was talking about it with my mother, and my mother said, "Do it." So she's my mom, I love her, okay. So we did one more project, and that was the NG 1.0 that we did for Microsoft Flight Simulator. And it became a completely different ballgame after that. So if you ever get a chance to meet Vin, thank him, because we would have quit a long time ago were it not for Vin. And of course, if you meet my mom, you can thank her too. So there's a couple things I want to do. I'm not going to show you a whole lot of videos or anything like that fancy. So, and the reason why I'm not going to is that they really don't translate well to a screen like this. The presentation that I can give you through our forum at home, showing you a video or a screenshot, always looks better on your screen at home. You can really capture the details and see the details. What you and I don't get to do that often is to be face-to-face and to talk and have a conversation. So I'm going to give you a real quick briefing on where we are, what we're working on. I've got a couple of surprises in here that you guys will be the first people to hear about. And I just kind of decided it might be sort of Apple-esque to stand here and, hey, let's talk about something. I actually was going to wear a turtleneck today, and it's on the airplane, but I checked it out at the last minute because I figured there's some pieces of fate you don't want to kick at too hard. Yeah, you're right, that's true. So anyway, before I get into the product stuff, let me talk about our team. Our team has grown quite a bit since 2008. And in 2008, we decided that we were starting to stagnate a little bit, and we weren't really happy with the direction things were going. And so we made a bunch of changes, one of which was we decided to clean sheet our development process. And we literally started with a blank page, and that project became the NGX. And when we did that, we brought aboard Alex Bashkatov, who was formerly with PSS, and we brought aboard Jason Brown, who nobody had really heard of up to that point. And Jason and I had run into each other at the AVSIM convention out in Seattle in 2005 or 2007. And I liked him, and we hit it off, and he had a particular skill set that I kind of filed away and later went back to see if he was interested. We also added Henning Van Rensburg, who some of you may know from AeroWorks, and along the way we've added some additional folks. And we've got a couple more folks that we're in the process of bringing up to speed right now, and I don't want to talk too much about them because I don't have their permission to do so. But we've got a fairly sizable team now, and one of the things that has happened that has never happened before was yesterday we moved a product from alpha testing into beta testing. And it's the first time in the 18-year company history that we've moved a product into beta testing that I was not involved in, which may make the quality better or worse. I'll let you be the judge of that. What we moved into beta yesterday was the DC-6. So that's one of your things that nobody knows, by the way. I hear a couple of you were beating up Pete Frugalson in the back, trying to see what he knows. Yes, Pete is one of our beta testers. We brought him on board because we love his enthusiasm, and he also has a knack for picking up stuff that other guys miss. So we thought, well, hey, let's get our arms around that and get him involved. And so Pete got a first glance at it. Literally, we sent it to him, what, 20 minutes before he left for the airport?
It was about 30 minutes before that. I installed it, ran it, sent you an email.
Yeah, and of course, you know, as only Pete can do, the email had like 6 items that were wrong in it. So anyway, oops, I've already hit the wrong button. Okay, so why the DC-6? We decided 3 years ago that we were going to start making a move from just being Microsoft-centric to also embracing X-Plane. And we were pretty quiet about it, and some folks have accused us of being secretive and that sort of stuff, but the reality is we were quiet about it because we weren't sure we could make it work. We have a very small team. We were growing, we were adding people, we weren't sure quite what it was going to look like or how it was going to happen. And I say that because we had spent so long working with the Microsoft platform. We're very, very good with it. We know how to make it dance and sing. I couldn't even figure out how to change views in X-Plane. So rather than, one of the things that I learned when I was a chief pilot in the airline business was you can pretend you know everything, but after you're done doing that, you've got to go in the back room and actually talk to the experts. So we hired a fellow by the name of Chris Powell, who had some experience with X-Plane, was a very heavy X-Plane user, had a little bit of personal experience developing for X-Plane. He also happens to have known me for the better part of 30 years, which is not a character judgment against him, but that was supposed to be funny, by the way. But we brought Chris in, and literally what I asked him to do was take command of X-Plane, take the resources you need, and get us into the X-Plane environment. And what I made him do is I made him sit down with the NGX, and I made him sit down with the 777 that was in development at the time, and I said, this is your goal. This is what you're working toward. And anything short of that is not acceptable. So there you are, run with it. And he has done a marvelous job. And there have been a lot of knee knockers. I mean, we have fallen and skinned our knees and chipped teeth and all kinds of stuff. We've had some knockdown, drag out team meetings. But we finally have a product that we're happy enough with to put it into beta testing. And some folks have asked, why DC-6, why not, you know, a 737 or a 777, something we've experienced with? Well, the reality is, this product is not really about the fact that we think that this is the world-beating airplane that, you know, everyone wants to fly. This product is about, we need to figure out how to make that sim do what we want it to do and do it really, really well. And so what we wanted to take out of it was we wanted to take the glass displays out, we wanted to take the flight management systems, we wanted to take the FMS, the inertial navs, and all the fun bells and whistles. And we figured if we do a real mechanical airplane, that will allow us to focus on how we make that airplane interact with the sim. And that's really what we've been doing with this. When we announced this in January, I got a lot of hate mail. It was, you know, you would have thought that, geez, I can't even think of anything that I could have done so horrible for some of the things that people said to me. But the message that we kept trying to get across was, hey, you know, this project came about for 2 reasons. One, we got a lot of classic airplane lovers on our team. And 2, we're really just trying to get through the gestation period with X-Plane. So this is what we built. Now, just because we don't know how to do anything halfway, we actually sent a team to Namibia to go look at the sister ship of the Red Bull DC-6. And we sent a team up there. They went up, they spent a week there, photo surveyed the airplane, sound recordings, all the other stuff that we normally do with Boeing airplanes when we do those in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And so we have gone through this, and I think you're going to be impressed with the level of detail. Some of you have seen these pictures in our forum, and this is what I was talking about, where it's hard to get the technology to work in our favor. so some of what I wanted to show you on this is that little details like all of the fixture screws along the window center post, they're all in 3D, so they look like you can. I mean, when you sit there and look at it on your screen at home, it looks like you can stick the screwdriver in there and turn it. I mean, they really come out with a lot of definition. This is a 60-year-old airplane. We gave you 60 years worth of gunk in the window ledges. Where the windows get put in and out, there's some sealant that goes around those, and it tends to collect gunk. And all of it looks just absolutely fantastic. The panel develops a vibration, something that Pete didn't like, but we'll get around to fixing it. The panel develops a vibration as you get the engines in and out of harmony and stuff like that. And a lot of the details of that we got from working with the folks that own this DC-6 in Namibia. And of course, I've got experience with DC-4s and DC-3s. So there's a whole lot of real nice texture and reality in this airplane. One of the things that Henning spent a tremendous amount of time doing was, as the panel vibrates in flight, it causes the needles to wiggle as well. If you've ever flown a Cessna or a Piper, you get needles that just kind of do this the whole time. They do that. So you're not really looking at precise values sometimes. Sometimes you just want to get it in the general ballpark. That's my director of maintenance won't hear this, but that's kind of what we do with the DC-3. You're not really setting precise numbers. You want it in the neighborhood, and then you leave it alone. So you'll get an experience of what that's like here. Everything on the airplane works: fire detection, fire suppression, fuel system, fuel dump, electrical, radios, navigation. All of that stuff works on the airplane. We spent a lot of time working on night lighting because an old airplane, the night lighting is not all that great sometimes. And well, you can sort of see it here. If you look at the bottom row of, let me see if I can get my finger where I want it, right here. If you look at the red lighting here, the top of these gauges is fairly easy to read, but when you get to the bottom of these gauges, that's not easy to do. When you get to the bottom of the gauges, it's harder to read what they actually say unless you zoom in really close. It's like that in the airplane, and we were able to do that for you here. We've got a lot of panel glow and projected lighting around the compass. That light is projected at the compass from another location on the flight deck. So you can see there's sort of a glow around that fixture. So we've tried to give you as much of that atmospheric as we can. This airplane comes with a 370-page manual. And what we did was we took a DC-6 manual and we really condensed it down, and we've had some licensing issues we had to get through as well, but we got through all of those. And so you'll have a manual that really shows you how to operate a DC-6, and you'll be able to go fly it just like you would fly the actual airplane. So this airplane is now in beta testing, and I have no idea how long it's going to stay there. What I can promise you is the day we tell you it's released, that's the day that it's ready. There's a lot of little things that I want to change. There's a couple big things that I want to change. We're going to go through all those, and Pete will be able to give you guys occasional updates on how things are going, and we hope that you will enjoy it as much as we have enjoyed building it. And also take a look at it from the standpoint that this is a stepping stone to what we are hoping to do with the X-Plane community. Okay, I got 3 747s to talk about. Many of you pay attention to our customer support forum at all? Occasionally, you do? Okay. Y'all might know I have a 4-engine fetish. If it has 4 engines, I'll fly it. I don't care what it is. And as a matter of fact, if I could find the director of the museum, I want to see if I can make an even trade on a DC-3 for that flying boat that they had out there. But that's another story altogether. I love 4-engine airplanes. I love the 707. Paul Goldneck, who manages our support team, he refuses to allow me to get anywhere near one. For those of you who have, he's shaking his head. For those of you who have never met or seen Paul, wave your hand. That's Paul Goldneck. Paul runs our tech support team. To the second to his left, to my left, to Kyle, raise your hand. That's Kyle Rogers. Kyle's the new guy on the team. Kyle joined our tech support team earlier this year. In the middle is Lindy. Lindy's the guy who whacks me over the back of the head when we're flying the DC-3 to keep me from falling asleep. Anyway, I love anything with 4 engines. So this year is kind of exciting for me because it's all about 4-engine airplanes. We got the DC-6 coming. We are getting very close to putting the 747 into beta testing. We're actually developing 2 747s. This is the first one, the 747-400. This is a ground-up rebuild of a product that we released, brace yourself, 10 years ago, August 1st of this year. So those of you that love our old 7.4, this is going to be this version will be on par with the NGX and the 777 using that code base. It is so far above and beyond from a quality perspective what we did 10 years ago. It's unbelievable. The level of detail that we can get into in this airplane with the support that we have from the Boeing company is extraordinary. We think if you love 747s, you're going to love this one. This product will come with all three engine types. It will come with both we're going to release both the passenger, the freighter, the BCF, and the 400M. There's been some requests for a 400D, but I really don't think we're going to see that happen. The data for that airplane is owned by one airline, so I doubt to see that happen. Immediately after that, or immediately before, you never know. We've been known to throw some curveballs. We've got the 747. Did I bump that? Did that move out of focus? No. We've got the 747-8. The -8 is Boeing's modern update to the historic 747 product line. This airplane is quite a bit longer than the 747-400. It can haul a heck of a lot more. It's got a tremendous amount more thrust. It's a far more efficient airplane. It carries a lot more gas. So you can go a lot farther, you can carry a lot more, you can do a lot more stuff with it. What's really fascinating about this is how much has changed inside the airplane and how much has stayed the same. So when you get this airplane, if you're familiar with the 744, you'll be very comfortable, you'll be very at home. You will overturn a whole bunch of taxiways when you first start taxiing around. And you'll be amazed at how efficiently the airplane climbs. This airplane has in it the electronic checklists. It's got a lot of the LCD display technology that was brought in with the 777. When you fly this airplane, you will basically be taking on, and Boeing doesn't like it when I say this, so nobody repeat this. I'll deny it if you tell them I said this. It's basically a 4-engine 777. And when you get into the airplane, if you like flying the 777 and you like the technology that it has, you're going to love this airplane because this airplane is a generation further on and it's got just a whole lot more bells and whistles. And you'll have, I think the number right now is standing about 600 different potential failure items that could break on the airplane when you're flying it around. So if you love to play with the electronic checklist, you got lots of opportunities with this airplane. You got 4 of everything that can go snot on you. So this airplane. This might come out before the 400, it might come out after. We're not really sure. They're going to be in pretty close proximity to one another. This is the flight deck for the 74-8. I managed to not bring a slide for the 744, and the reason why I didn't is because I accidentally deleted it. So I know, sorry, but they look very similar. This airplane is, what we decided to do is the 7.4 virtual cockpit is going to be fairly dirty, like the NG. The airplane that we photo surveyed for the NG was fairly dirty. It was a well-loved airplane. The 747 that we photo surveyed for the 744 is one of the oldest airframes on the market. And so it's got a lot of bangs, a lot of dings, a lot of scratches, a lot of little marks and stickers and gummy stuff that nobody ever cleaned off. And that's all in that airplane. What we decided to do, just to give you contrast, the 748 being a brand new airplane, this flight deck is impeccably clean. If you've hung around our forum for a while, you know I like clean. So I basically told Vin that he'd have to go get another job if he made this one dirty. So he's tried to sneak some stuff in there along the sides, but I seem to find it and we get rid of it pretty quickly. This airplane has a whole bunch of advanced technologies that are kind of interesting. Boeing finally gave pilots a button to center the rudder on the airplane, which is nice. So this little button right down here, if you have an engine failure and you roll in 3 degrees of rudder, depending on which engine it is, one of the biggest challenges is when you actually flare the airplane. The guy flying the airplane is supposed to center the rudder. It usually winds up with the guy not flying the airplane, which means you've got somebody who has no feel for what the airplane's doing, changing the rudder input. So it makes it it's a tough CRM circumstance. So Boeing finally gave us a button where the guy flying the airplane could just reach back, feel around and go click, okay, and now he knows the rudder's going to center and he can just continue to fly the airplane on. So you'll get to play around with that. Same auto throttles, same FMS as the 777. the electronic checklist, like I mentioned, plus a whole bunch of new synoptic displays that have fancier graphics and a lot more stuff and data. So lots of stuff to play with on this airplane. I am very excited about this airplane. I'm very excited about both of them, but I've been having probably more fun with this one than I should have. So let's see here, what do we have next? Yeah, just a little more visual beauty for you. I'll get ahead of myself. Okay, so the third 747 deal that I have for you. For years, folks have been asking us to pay a little bit more attention to hardware vendors. And I promised you I was going to look at my phone, so that's what I'm doing. So for years, folks have been asking us, provide a little bit more support for hardware vendors. With the NGX, we started to do that. We created an SDK for the first time in our history that allowed hardware vendors to interact or to interface their hardware to our software. And what we're doing now is we're kind of moving to generation 2 of that, and that will become available with the 747 releases. And the generation 2 is going to take us a step further, and we are still working on a lot of details about how this integration will work and how we will actually get it to you. But here's what we did. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, time goes by much too fast. 3 years ago, Peter Coase from FlightSimCon Solutions came down to Virginia to spend some time in our offices with me. And over lunch, we got to talking. We just had this wide-ranging hypothetical of how could we better support each other. And how could he better support me? Well, he can't. They already make a fantastic product. The issue was we really don't support his customers. So what I spent a lot of time getting a lot of feedback from Peter and from his brother Steve on what we need to do in order to be able to support their hardware. And it just so happens that the feedback from him, it works with GoFlight, it works with all the other hardware vendors as well. It works with folks who are building cockpits on their own at home. And what we have done is Alex Bashkatov has, poor Alex, I think there are mornings when he wakes up and he dreads getting email from me. Because I got Alex, and Alex took this over. Alex owns this project. And we now have running in-house for the first time a networked version of the 747. And this airplane is, it's running, you've got one computer running the simulator in the airplane. We've got another computer that's running the captain and the FO's displays. We've got another computer that's running the upper and lower ICAS. We've got another machine that's running all 3 FMSs. And by doing that, we can offload all the graphics rendering and processing and all that type of stuff from the sim machine, push it out to other machines so that we can try to give you the best performance possible on the machine that's running the sim. Doesn't mean anything to just general simmers. If you're a hardware guy, if you're building a cockpit or you want to build a cockpit, it means everything in the world. Plus the ability to just take the screen, take the captain's displays, move them over here, and say this is where I want them, and have them stay there. We've developed a really nifty and simple graphic interface that allows you literally to just click and drag, move a screen, size it, shape it, put it where you want it, and it will stay there until you move it. You don't have to go into configuration files. You don't have to do a whole lot of manual editing. We've tried to make it just as simple and easy as possible so that our software integration becomes the easy side of building a real nice home flight deck. So in keeping with that, Peter and I started to talk, and a year ago we began a project which we've kept under wraps until now. A couple of folks have seen it. And FlightSimCon Solutions has built for PMDG, or I shouldn't say for, that makes it sound like they gave it to us. They have built in cooperation with us, FlightSimCon Solutions has built a full fixed base 747-8 simulator. And we are in the process of marrying their simulator with our software so that every single button, knob, switch, dimmer, every little thing works just like you'd get it to work in the airplane. We're working with NatViz, who is a company down in Australia that does visuals. They're going to provide the visuals for it as well. And what we're going to do with this is really, it's going to go in 2 directions. Direction 1, and this will probably interest most people in the room. Direction 1 is that this technology is going to get pushed into the 777 and the NGX as well. And it will allow home cockpit builders to have the ability to do what they want to do with our software for 10 years. And so we're going to give you that capability. But also, it'll work with a little bit of tweaking, it'll work with just about any hardware you want to throw it into. But it will also give you the ability to, if you want to buy hardware from a specific vendor, we can work with the vendor to make sure that everything is all set up so that when you get it home, you can just install it, set it up, and it runs. You don't have to spend half your life trying to figure out how to make this communicate with that. So that's the direction it's going to go for all of our products system-wide. But we've decided to take it into a different direction as well. And we have been slowly putting together a PMDG Sim Center in Northern Virginia. And this center is going to be geared toward people like us. If any of you have ever tried to book time in a full level D simulator, okay, so when you called, did you kind of get the, you want what? The reason why, those of us in the airline community, when I was an airline pilot, before I was an airline pilot, I would do anything to spend time in the sim center in Denver at my airline. Once I became an airline pilot, no thank you, I'd rather go get a root canal. Sims are not a lot of fun for pilots, and they're not a lot of fun for sim instructors because they're just there to plow people through procedures over and over and over again. So every now and then you get one of us calls, flight safety or Boeing and says, hey, can I come and try out your sim? And they say, oh, well, yeah, we need to get you a seat made, or we need to get you an instructor, or we need to get you. And you get there, and what they do is they jam you through a training program. This is how you start it. This is how you taxi. This is how you take off. This is an approach. Here's a V1 cut. Okay, thanks very much. I'm going to go home now. Most simmers want to kind of revel in it a little bit and do the pre-flight flows and push back from the gate and taxi out, take off, and fly. All the stuff that we do in simulating. You don't get a chance to do that. So we are building a sim center that's going to give you that opportunity. And in that sim center, we'll have a 747. It'll be the Dash 8. We're going to have a 777 and a 737 NG. And what we are in the process of doing, and Kyle is going to be the point man on this. Kyle's already started to put together some of how the whole thing is going to stack up. But basically what will happen is you'll book time with the sim, you'll come in, you'll have one of us will be there to take you through things and get you situated and run the thing so that you don't have to figure that out on your own. But then if you want to come in and be a 737 pilot for a day, we've got a whole bunch of experiences. If you want to be a Southwest guy flying a shuttle up and down the West Coast, great. If you want to be a Delta pilot flying the New York, Boston, DC shuttle in the middle of wintertime with changing weather and all kinds of conditions that are forcing you to learn how to make decisions with the airplane, we'll give you that opportunity too. You want to come and fly the 747 and fly it from, I don't know, Vancouver to Sydney or something like that, you can come and do that as well. That's when you'll really start to enjoy the time acceleration. And hey, you know what though? We don't want to discriminate. If you want to come and sit for 16 hours and fly that, we'll let you do it. And for the bonus package, we'll put you in a cheap hotel that's right next to the railroad yard, give you 7 hours of sleep, and then come make you fly the airplane home too. And cheap microwave food. That was Paul's idea. It was cheap microwave food and cold coffee. So the goal is to give us simmers a place where you can go and really get a chance to see what it's like and see what it's about and fly the airplane as it's flown and take your time and not feel like you've got someone sitting there with a stopwatch saying, hey, you've got 3 hours and 6 minutes left. What do you want to do? Because when you go to these full motion sim centers, that's what they do. They get paid by the minute and they're there to train. We want to go, we want to have fun and sort of live the experience. So we're going to give you a place to go and do that. We think the sim center will be up and running. What was my original target? It was June, right? Yeah, last week. At PMDG, we could run an airline because we can't do anything on time.
You're going to get a date right now?
What's that?
You're going to get a date on this right now?
No.
How about that?
Actually, what's kind of funny is my other job. I run a consulting company. I spent a whole career in airline management, and I provide consulting services to a bunch of airlines on how to run on time. And you would not know that looking at PMDG. Anyway, so the Sim Center, I expect that the 747-8 is our development sim. I don't think that's going to be the first one that you get access to. I think probably the triple or the MG. Peter Coase and I are having a little disagreement about that. He thinks it should be a 7.3. I think it should be a 777. if you ask him, I'm wrong, and if you ask me, he's wrong. So we'll sort that out. The first sim will go in later this year, and we'll make sure you know when it's up and running. And we hope you'll come down and experience it and see what it's like. We'd love to have you guys come down and try it out. And if any of you live down in that area and you want to get involved, Kyle's the person you probably want to spend some time impressing, because we will probably want to bring some folks in to help run it. So anyway, that's what we got for you. I'm not giving you any dates, right? I didn't give any dates. So that's what we've got coming for you. All of this stuff is really starting to roll in. It's falling into place really nicely. We're looking forward to it. And while we just kind of have this little moment, if I can just offer one little thing, and this is personal for me, and I'm sure everyone on the team feels the same way. I joked in the beginning that I started PMDG and then decided, okay, well, I paid off my credit card bill, I'm done, I don't have to do this anymore. If you had told me back then that I was going to leave the airline industry to do this, I would have fallen down laughing. But you know what? The amount of support that you guys give to my team and to my company's products is extraordinary. I wake up in the morning and I look at our support queues, and I interact with some people when Paul allows me to, because if I'm not in a good mood, he doesn't let me anywhere near tech support. But I interact with people every now and then. I get to talk to you guys in the forum. It's quite a big community that we have. We've got about 250,000 customers worldwide. And sometimes it's not fun to have to support that when we make mistakes in our software. But the reality is, you guys, we take a shot in the jaw every now and then. Sometimes we make mistakes. We try to own up to it. But you guys say the nicest things about the products that we make. And at the end of the day, when I'm sitting at home and I've got a wiring diagram that's 60 pages long, and I'm trying to trace this one line across 14 pages, and I'm calling friends and saying, well, I don't understand where this thing goes, explain this to me. And I've got a guy in Russia who's been awake for 14 hours and a guy in Greece who's 6 hours past his bedtime. And we start to wonder, why are we doing this? You guys are in. It's fun for us. We enjoy doing it, obviously. But to us, our favorite part is to see what you guys say about it once we get it to you. And we appreciate that. We appreciate the support of the products. It means a great deal to us. So we'll just keep plugging along, and you tell us what you want to fly, and we'll find a way to make it. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm going to be on a panel discussion here, and then unfortunately I don't have a lot of time. I got to bolt right back out of here. But I hope to get a chance to say hello. But if I don't, thank you for coming. Thanks for your support, and we'll look forward to seeing you around. One thing. Pete, sit down. Sorry, I'm just going to, for the organizers, this will take like 10 seconds. I have to find the thing that I was supposed to show you. Help? Oh, here we go. Okay. Here is our, you can see this if you go to Flight Tech Solutions website. They have it on their website, and it's de-identified, but it's the -8. But on the Flight Tech Solutions website, if you want to get an up-close personal look at the fixed-base 747-8 simulator, this is it. Go to their website, take a look at it, and one of the guys on our team noticed that they used my initials on the Celcom tag on the airplane, so you'll know you're looking at it when you see my initials on there. So anyway, but this is it, and we hope you'll come down to Virginia and come fly. Thanks again.